Hey, what's up everybody? It's Flux with Fluxwithit.com, and today we're going to check out the Hex Inverter Mutant Snare. Now this is a DIY kit that I built, but you can also buy this as a pre-assembled module as well. The Mutant Snare module is just one of many of the Mutant series drum modules from Hex Inverter, and they're pretty much known for being some of the best drum modules on the market. Previously, I've done videos on the Mutant Hot Glue. This module right here is basically, it's like an 808 snare, but it's been mutated. It's been expanded upon. So let's go over some of the controls real quick, and we'll jump right into how it sounds. So first, I'm going to play a little bit of this, and I'll mess around with it, and then we'll talk about what's doing what. Now first up top here we have the tone control. There's two oscillators going on inside of this thing, and what we can do with the tone control is we can blend between the two oscillators to kind of change the timbre of this snare. And you'll notice over here we have shell pitch. Now shell pitch allows us to take one of those two oscillators and pitch it up and down. And if I blend back to oscillator 2 here more, you'll notice that shell pitch doesn't really do anything. That's because it's pitching oscillator 1, so if we go to 12 o'clock, we're getting equal amounts of oscillator 1 and 2. In the center here, we have the drive, okay? The drive is interesting in that it's a distortion circuit, and it's also our level circuit. And there is a purple LED on here that's going to light up as we start to overdrive the circuit. So let's turn this up. Now another nice aspect about this distortion is that not only do we have our drive amount here, but we also have a mix between the shell and the snappy, okay? So the shell is these two oscillators, okay? The snappy is a white noise generator, and you can also, let's bring this in. So you can decide just how much snappy you want. You have lots of control over that, but you can also send it its own input. You have an external input for the snappy. So if you don't want to use white noise on your snare for the for that ringing, you can also go ahead and just send in another oscillator or whatever else you want, really. So for instance, if I was to take the Synthetech DSM, I'm going to pitch this oscillator way up, and then I'll send it into the input, and then drop it down. So now I can really play with it. So now I'm getting like a bellish type snare. could overdrive that. So another awesome aspect of this is the cutoff here. So we've gone through, we got shell tone, drive, shell pitch, then of course we have our decay for the snare. But the decay for the snare is normalized when you have nothing sent to the input of this CV for cutoff. It's normalized across here to your cutoff. So you can use this decay envelope to modulate the cutoff, and you can choose between a high pass or a bandpass filter. Now when you set it in the center, you know, it's doing next to nothing. You still get just a tiny bit of movement, but it's next to nothing. And there is a jumper behind the panel so that you can change how this functions. You can change it to be the decay can affect either your tone, or you can have the decay affect your cutoff. I prefer it on cutoff. So let's go ahead and check this out. Now we have our standard in the center. In the center here, we have our standard cutoff resonance amount, like an 808. Now if you go down here, you're going to get high resonance, and then if you go all the way up to the top, you're going to get self-oscillation of this filter. So I have it in high pass mode. Let's listen to how this normalized decay affects the sound. You're almost getting like a clapping sound on that one. And let's bring the high pass up here. And we'll switch over to bandpass now. We'll bring this up. And as I affect the decay, as I bring the decay down, you hear how it gets shorter and let's bring the high resonance. And if I bring the decay back up, and this is self-oscillation. So as you can see, you can get just a ton of tonal variety out of it by using the normalized envelopes on there. And of course you can send CV into these as well. Okay, so down below here, we've obviously got our trigger input. We also have an accent input. And the accent input is nice if you want to add a little bit of variety to the level of your snare hitting. So let's plug that in and take a listen. So you can hear the variety of the level of the snare using the accent input. And then again, of course, you have your external input and then your output. So overall, Mutant Snare, I'd say it's about a moderate build. It's fairly easy. You also have a trimmer on the back of the board to adjust how much decay you want and how much noise you want for your snappy. Really great snare drum. If you are into really hard-hitting snares, this one is by far the best that I've come across as far as hard-hitting snare drums. You know, just a ton of tonal variety as well. So this is Flux of Fluxwithit.com, checking out the Hex Inverter Mutant Snare Drum. Peace.